Alright guys, welcome back to another news-related video. I am back to talk about the Switch 2 once again. And I'm going to be talking about the Switch 2 and apparently its financial stuff and its sales. Because apparently it's looking like it's making a lot of sales. So we're gonna talk about that. Anywho, before I get any further, you guys know the drill. Please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I am trying to get to 1K subs. Because even though YouTube is getting kind of crummy, I am still trying to grow the channel. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers and hoping they will change their ways, but a lot of companies, not saying all of them, but a lot of them do not do that. But also, you guys can also follow me on Instagram, /threads, and, which I forgot to put the post in here again, but you guys can follow me over there. Also, you guys can follow me on X too. You guys can follow me on there too. I haven't been really posting anything on X, but I am on X too. So, I need to start posting some more stuff, but I'm trying to figure out how that works. I keep saying that. I've been saying that for apparently a year now, because I've been kind of going back through some of my older videos. And trying to look at them and all that, because sometimes I've talked about that YouTube's been removing my comments and all that, and, some of them I've also, have watched, just to see, some of the stuff I've said and all that in the past and all that, and, I don't know, it's, just to kind of, I sometimes like to improve my videos too and all that, so, yeah. But, anywho, we're going to be talking about the Switch 2. So, on the Switch 2 and all that, this is Nintendo's new console. Apparently, a lot of people are very split on it. A lot of people are actually, a lot of people I don't think really care for it that much. A lot of people have bought it. And, are saying there's not really a lot to it. People are saying, some of the games that they've released is pretty good, though. So, there's that. I don't really have a Switch 2, so I can't really say, how the games are. I mentioned my dad has a Switch 2. Yeah, he bought a freaking Switch 2 for Keegan, my brother. Because, he does that. He buys him a lot of stuff and all that. And I'm assuming he's trying to make himself look better than he does with Tana and all that with it, which is his ex-girlfriend. I swear he's had so many ex-girlfriends too over the years, it's really crazy. But I'm like, you bought him a Switch 2, and he'll use the excuses that his birthday's and Christmas, so he only gets one Christmas and all that. He gets a bunch of stuff for Christmas too, So I'm just like, why did he get a freaking, what is it, $500 for this console now? A $500 Switch, I mean, it's kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of frustrating, to see that, but, I don't know, but I don't really have I'm not saying I'd probably want a Switch 2, right now. I mean, I'm gonna get one in the future, I am, because I collect these consoles. Plus, I do reviews, so I'll probably, I want to get back into reviewing some of these consoles again in the future. I just haven't really done them. I've actually done the, a long time ago, fun fact about this, now you guys might see one of the videos. I think it's on my fun playlist. I showed off, this is before I was doing reviews, before I had a playlist for it. And I don't know why I didn't just call it like a console, thing there, but I was reviewing actual consoles before I reviewed episodes. So my Family Guy episode on Customer of the Week, if you guys seen some of my reviews, was actually not my first review. I've actually reviewed other stuff, before it, But I actually blocked those videos. YouTube didn't block those. I blocked those. They have blocked some of my videos for some stupid copyright stuff or something like that. Like trailers and all that. They've done that. They've done my Lego Star Wars, which, by the way, for some reason, suddenly I think I went back to them. Suddenly they're not blocked anymore. They were blocked for like a long, long time. I think YouTube is watching some of this stuff and being like, yeah, like maybe we shouldn't do that. Because, I've talked about it before. I'm like, if you guys are going to block my stuff, then why do I want to, upload on the platform, I'm like, I can go upload it somewhere else, Now, where I'm going to upload it, I don't know yet, but I'm just saying, even though I don't have a specific spot to upload all these videos, I'm just saying there's a lot of platforms out there. So I'm like, I'm just saying, you don't want to be doing that crap and all that, blocking it and censoring it, especially when other people have, made videos like it before, it's annoying. But, yeah, that's kind of weird there, but, yeah, but, that's kind of the thing, too, with the consoles and all. So I've done my fair share of reviews. Still, I have done reviews and all that, but I have blocked a couple of those, but I do want to get back into reviewing consoles and stuff. I want to review a lot of these consoles. I want to review the Wii U, the Wii. I want to review, a lot of stuff. But I can't really be doing a lot of that right now because there's a lot of stuff going on with the holidays and all that, So, but I will get to that. I do want to get back to reviewing that stuff. Plus, I want to kind of play more of the games on some of these consoles so I can kind of have a better kind of say on certain stuff, But, yeah. Anywho, speaking of Let's Play and stuff, yeah, the Switch 2 and all that, that's kind of what made me not want to get it. I was actually going to get it. I was gonna get it. I was like, you know what? It's more expensive, but it's backwards compatible with the original Switch. And like, if it can screen record stuff like the PS5 and Xbox Series X can, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should go buy it. I should buy it. But then, apparently the trailers come out, and apparently people are saying it cannot do that. And honestly, you guys are not missing a lot. You're not missing a lot because for people who do not have it, because it's basically pretty much identical to the original Switch. It does have a couple features like, the Snapchat thing with their console, so you can, chat with people, which I guess is kind of cool in a way, it's their own little Snapchat, with Nintendo, which I'm just like, I kind of wish they would bring back Miiverse. That's what I hate about these companies. Disney does the same thing, I made a video talking about, their AI and all that and trying to compete with YouTube. I'm like, you guys already have Maker Studios. Why not bring that back, instead of, putting all this money into a whole new thing, I guess to be fair with Nintendo, not Nintendo Zone, I don't remember what Nintendo Zone was that was on the 3DS. They discontinued that too. But Miiverse, that's what it was. Yeah, Miiverse, you could actually post stuff and all that on the platform. It was really nice. It was like, it's Twitter in the past. It was a Twitter. It was really cool, But they discontinued it. Again, I'm not sure why they discontinued it, but it definitely lasted longer than Nintendo Zone. Nintendo Zone got discontinued forever ago. It was not on the 3DS super long. But yeah, I hate that they did that. And that's the problem. Now it's like they barely got any features on the systems. And there's no themes or anything. There's no music. It really sucks. I really hate it, And I mentioned this, that the original Switch, was going to have, was going to also have, its own shop theme music, too, in the console. It was going to have it in the console. And, unfortunately, they got rid of it. They got rid of apparently that's what I've heard, is they had a beta version of it, too. So, they could have added that to this console. They could have done some stuff to make this console better. Because even though the original Switch had a big library of games, it has a lot of problems. And it's the console itself. The console itself kind of sucks. And that's something they could have, improved on. Now, they did have stuff like you can customize your Miis a bit more and all that, but they really weren't using the Miis a whole lot, Like, if you got, what was it? Yeah, Mario Galaxy and the 3D All-Stars. I don't know about the new game. I haven't bought it yet. I was actually thinking about getting it for Black Friday. I was, even though Black Friday, actually, I kind of want to make a separate video kind of talking about Black Friday, but I might do that maybe after this, if I have the time. But, I mean, it's like 5 in the morning, it's gonna be, I don't know if we're gonna have school or not, and, there might be, like, a lot of school buses and all that, so, yeah, I don't know. But I actually was up because I was gonna go to bed, but my legs were starting to hurt, like, they hurt, like, that's the problem in the winter, they start hurting, and I need to find my papers. I can't figure out what I do with it, because try some exercising stuff, but yeah, I don't know. But my thing is to but back to this. I said my thing is to with the Switch 2 is, like I said, there's not really a lot of stuff to it, but I know it sounds like I'm kind of complaining about it, and I need to get to the actual part of the video, and that is, even though the Switch 2 is, like I said, it's not really worth it right now. There's a couple games on there that are received very well and all that, but there's not a lot else to it. My thing is, though, is it actually, this is where I want to get into the video here, is actually this console is selling quite well. Possibly. The reason why I say that is companies are known for fudging their numbers. They do fudge their numbers, So, it could be selling very well, or it could not be, I don't know. All I know is, as I go off reviews, and, there are a lot of people that are kind of hit or miss on it. And I gotta say, I'm not happy with it myself, because I didn't get to, try it. I didn't play any games, but I did try it, because, I want to let's play them kind of blind, so I was like, I don't really want to do that, because in the future, I might get a capture card. I have one, but it's not, like, I can't get it to work, and I don't know if I'm not using it right or something. I don't know. I don't have anybody to take it to, But yeah, basically, like I said, it's, I got to play it, and like I said, it's not really, like I said, there's not much to it, and that's kind of the problem with people. It's like, and that's the thing, there's not even really any games out for it yet either. But somehow it's got, like, over, like, 10 million units sold. And right now it's starting to get to the Wii U era. And the Wii U, in its entire lifespan, only got, the Wii U only got, like, 13, million units. That's actually bad. That's not good. That is bad. Now, the Wii U is becoming more popular because people are going back to it more, and we got online. But the thing is, though, is the fact that, that the Switch 2 here is already outselling the Wii U is kind of sad, because, again, this console is not really nothing. It doesn't, like, it feels too much like a Switch. It doesn't feel like its own thing. And I get it's supposed to be a sequel to the original console, but that's how the Wii U is with the Wii. The Wii U had, its own thing, with a tablet and all that. And I guess, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where they're going with the handhelds and all that. But that's kind of how it is with the, DSs too. The DSs, the DSIs, the 3DSs, they added features to it to make it stand out more from one to the other. The Switch 2 has really not a lot. It has a mouse thing, and then it has the chat thing, and that's about it. I think they should add more stuff to it. They should add, themes. And again, I mean, the console, like I said, the console is brand new, so maybe they could add these features down the road. But I'm just saying, there needs to be more to it. You need to give a reason for more people to want to buy it, Because I don't want to buy it right now because there's not really a lot for it, I want to go buy it, but I'm like, I don't want to pay for something that doesn't really have a lot of features. And yeah, like I said, they're going to start putting more games on it. I think they're going to start doing this next year. We're going to see more and more games come on the Switch. Switch 2, I should say. Sorry, Switch 2. But again, I'm like, right now, it's just like, there's not really a reason to really buy it, and that's kind of the problem, And that's kind of where we're at. But, I don't know. Now, there are some speculations. Some people are speculating we could be getting a... Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. There's a cat outside in the snow. Sorry, I got distracted. There's a cat out in the snow. Yeah, I'm actually outside, so I don't wake people up. Because like I said, I'm doing this in the morning, Yeah, sorry about that, but I hope that cat's okay. I mean, cats have fur on them, so hopefully they'll be alright. But anywho, yeah, sorry about that. Basically, like I said, the Switch 2, like I said, they have, a problem where, like I said, yeah, they're getting, 10 million units, but again, a lot of people are not liking the console, a lot of people are still refusing to get it, And a lot of people are also blaming, a lot of the crap on, what's going on right now with the country and all that, and the pricing, too. I've been hearing about that. And I've been saying, like I've said before, they've been pricey for a while. Nintendo isn't offering as many deals. It's not just this year, they've been doing it a lot. None of their Switch games have been going down in price, after a while, some of them should have gone down. Like Mario Odyssey, even though the freaking Switch 2 is out right now, and their games are still selling on the shelves for the exact same amount. But yeah, we got Mario Odyssey selling for $60 and all, and it's been selling for $60 for a long time. So it's it's just very weird to see kind of that, because even when the Switch 1 was still, a thing, before this console was made, they should have had some deals and all that, and they really aren't giving you deals either, And that's the thing. I'm not saying it's great in the world right now, but I'm just saying, what hasn't been great for a while, but what I'm saying is that, you can't really blame it on the world, and not the not just the world, but we need to blame it on the company too, because the company is causing the problem too, But, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I do think it is very funny, It is very funny, again, to see, the Switch 2, like I said, it's almost outsold the Wii U, and I'm not saying it because I feel bad for the console, because I do. I mean, I love the damn Wii U. The Wii U it didn't have the best library of games, at least some of them I played. I mean, some of them were really good, but some of them were it didn't have the best library of, mainline Mario games and all that. But, damn, it was a great console. It had a lot of great features and stuff in it. And then we got, a freaking generic, Switch. And that's the thing, too. I actually been noticing that. It's not just consoles. A lot of shit has been getting very generic over the years. Like, they've been getting more and more generic. Like, the brands and all that. Like, everything's just more simple. And what's happening is people are getting tired of it. And, people just want something, nice, and that's the same, nice thing with the Switch, too. I mean, you gotta get people out here who want to buy it by adding things people want to buy. Like, do something with the Mii characters, Like Street Pass from, the 3DS. That was a really good feature. A lot of people loved Street Pass. I did too. Street Pass is amazing. Like, it was a great console. I mean, not a great console. It was a great game. But you gotta do things like that to get people to buy it. And that's the problem, People are just like... People are not really wanting to buy the stuff, And that's the thing. But I don't really have a whole lot to say, because I've been saying this for a while, but I just wanted to make this video just because, they're making 10 million, they made over, they sold at over, 10 million units. Maybe more than that because of Black Friday, but again, I'm kind of having a hard time kind of believing it to be that much. Maybe 8, maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't know. I think that's a lot because, I can understand when it first came out because people were excited and people wanted to see what this console was about, and then when they got it, they started kind of realizing it wasn't as special, And I've experienced it myself, and that's why it took me a long time to make this video, because this news is actually older, but I wanted to, actually try it out before I could say anything, and so far, yeah, it's nothing special, it's nothing really special. It's just a bigger Switch. It's nothing like, they just made a bigger Switch, added a couple features, and then slapped, the Switch 2 logo on it and called it a day. They didn't really do much of anything else with it. They didn't, change the background or anything like that, I kind of wish they, did more of it, because that's the problem, they're not, I think because of the Wii U, they're worried about having a Wii U situation. They're afraid to take risk, and that's the problem, They need to take more risk. And yeah, the Wii U failed, but it didn't help. That was mainly the advertisement. That wasn't because of the features. The features are what make people want to go back to it. It's what made the people who own the thing to like it, And yeah, it sold only 13 million units. But, a lot of those a lot of those 13 units were also family members that got to experience it, And it's coming out that people are starting to say, which I said in the past, that people were gonna come out and start saying that the Switch 2, or no, the original Switch, it's not as great, and it wasn't gonna hold up as well as, the Wii U and Wii and stuff did, It's not gonna hold up as well. And that's kind of what happened, To be fair, you could say the same thing about, the Nintendo GameCube or something, too, or the 64, because they don't really have menus and all that stuff either, but they still kind of have some of their little charm, and I guess the Switch has a little bit of it, too, but, again, it doesn't feel, especially what has come before it doesn't feel like there's much to it, but, it does have a very good library of games. I'm not going to deny and say it does. There's a lot of them I haven't played, but there are some I have played, and they're pretty good. So, yeah. But I'm probably going to go ahead, like I said, and let the video go, because I really don't have a lot else to say, But I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm probably going to talk about also Black Friday here, because, and all that, because Black Friday is kind of interesting this year, too. But anywho, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.